Hey guys, today we're going to be talking about the most common mistakes that younger players make in the attacking third of the field. So let's go. So last week, guys, my U9s, who are actually a true U8 team, had their first game of the spring, and we tied 1-1 and actually probably should have won the game. And as I looked at the game film, we made a lot of mistakes in our attacking third of the field. And quite frankly, I'm probably to blame for that. I've been so focused on build out. For the last 8 months, that's pretty much all this team's done. So when we got the ball really into our half, we really struggled in terms of what to do and how to be organized. And so I wanted to talk today about the most common mistakes that we made and common mistakes that I see the youngest players making. So here you can see our left fullback is beginning the attack down the middle third of our field in the wide area. Our central midfielder is already too wide. Our striker is in a good position high and central initially. As the ball is advanced up the field by the fullback, you can see how far wide the striker is coming over. All this does is compress space in the attacking third of the field. You can see here, as we magnify, there are 3 defenders going to the wide area. Our striker does not need to go there. He's just compressing the space further, making it easier to defend. Our center midfielder is late to come support, as is our left center back. As a result, the space is closed and we lose the ball. This is what the setup was looking at it from a bird's eye view. We have our left fullback who is taking the ball up the wide area, and our 9 is initially in a good position, but as this ball starts to be advanced, you can see that it draws a lot of attention from the defenders. Our 9 starts coming all the way in through here, which again doesn't help. Our 6, I think, ends up getting in a little bit better position, and that is absolutely where the ball should have gone. Now our left fullback didn't do that, but he didn't get very much help from the 9 by closing the space. As the ball was advanced down this area, you ended up having essentially something that looked like this. And there was no support for our left fullback. The support really needs to come from the center back here. The 6 needs to be here. And if the 9 is going to do anything, it would be to try to run into this space, although they might get into an offside position. If anything, they should be up in here. And the ball should have already been played from the wide area. In general, guys, when the attack is coming down the wide area, for example, the spacing has to be as such. The striker has to stay high and central. The only caveat for that being if, for example, the 3 gets closed, they could try to go into this area here. The 6 also needs to stay central. They can't get too wide. The more that those 2 get wide, the more the space becomes compressed. The other important issues is the fullback needs to support if things get closed off, which is why the center backs cannot stay back like this. They have to come and be avenues of support, and it's really the center back on the side of the ball carrier. The center back on the opposite side cinches in, the fullback on the other side cinches in, but also advances level with the ball. One thing that you want to do is to develop the relationship between the center midfielder and the striker. Their spacing is extremely important. The striker can't crowd the central midfielder, and the central midfielder can't get too high. And the communication that they have together can help you score goals. Here we have a situation where our central midfielder has won the ball and is starting to go up the field. Our striker goes immediately to the ball instead of higher to find space. Our center midfielder does a good job bringing the ball forward here. And as you can see, the striker has set himself up nicely to receive a ball. However, the central midfielder does not see him, keeps his head down, and tries to go himself. Here's another example, guys, of a situation where our central midfielder and our striker find themselves in a complete breakaway to goal. You can see here they're unable to communicate with each other as to who has the ball, and in fact end up fighting themselves for the ball. Guys, anytime that our central midfielder has the ball in the central portion of either our middle third or our attacking third, the relationship between the center midfielder and the striker, if they're moving forward, the striker has to give the central midfielder a 45-degree angle. And it can be either side. They have to pick. It can be either here or here. And the reason for that is if they stay here, there's no options as the center midfielder gets closed down. So one thing we did really well this weekend was get into dangerous wide areas, but we didn't convert and we didn't play a ball quickly enough into a dangerous spot centrally from the wide areas. So here you can see that our central midfielder plays a very dangerous ball out wide to our striker, who does a great job taking a man on 1v1 and then beating him. However, you can see as I pause it here, our striker needs to play that ball in back to our central midfielder sooner for a tap-in goal. Here, our center back takes their space, which we encourage our center backs to do, but fails to see that the center midfielder and the striker, if a ball is played into the center of the field, is going to have a 1v0 to the keeper. Here, our right fullback wins a tackle and takes the ball downfield, and again delays the cross into the center midfielder who has nobody else in front of him. One thing that young players struggle with is scanning the field. And sometimes they don't understand that they can just take an extra touch into space, especially close to goal. It will make the probability of scoring a goal so much higher. And we really had multiple opportunities in front of goal, and we took immediate shots or poor shots. So our striker wins the ball after providing some good defensive pressure, but decides to take a shot from outside our own 18, which at our age, few players have the leg to pull off. Here, our striker plays a fantastic ball into our center midfielder, who again, just could take an extra touch before shooting to get more strength on the shot. In summary, guys, 4 of the common mistakes that we see are spacing, especially when the 9 is too wide or the 6 is too wide, or if the ball is wide and there's failure to support from either the center back, the central midfielder, or the striker. Second, the relationship between your striker and your central midfielder has to be sound, and the striker has to understand that if the central midfielder has the ball, they have to give him a 45-degree angle. Similarly, your central midfielder has to understand that if he gets his head up, your striker may be available for tap-in goals or available centrally. When the ball is wide, we have to take advantage of opportunities that come central, and our players out wide have to have their head up, ready to play a ball in centrally if it's available early. Lastly, encourage your players to get their head up when they're close to goal. Sometimes an extra touch can make all the difference. Did you like that video? Check out that one.